to pull up my pants. I've lost a little weight but refused to buy new clothes. So
Exactly.
here we are. That's what I've accomplished in the pandemic.
Mike's not working.
Yeah, Mike's not working.
Maybe, do I speak? Can you hear it now?
Yeah.
I don't know how to use a microphone because I've been locked in my apartment for the last year or so, but here we are. I was not supposed to be speaking today. However, my pal Wendy nominated me, and like the true performer, I can't just be supportive. I need to make this about me. So here we are. But yeah, so I guess the proper story for me to speak about right now is I have a Holy Thursday story. And you're probably thinking to yourself, wow, this girl's really religious. I am not. My mother is Jewish and my father is Catholic, and we were raised with no religion. However, I still have a Holy Thursday story. But when I was in high school, I wanted to get out of going to school on Holy Thursday. I grew up in a very Catholic community, and they said if you had off for Good Friday, but if you brought a priest note into your school, you could get off for Holy Thursday. So I went up to my Jewish mother and I said, can I take off for Holy Thursday? We just need to get a priest note. And she said, no, absolutely not. And we don't know a priest. And I said, but we could find one real easy in this town. It's not a problem. She refused to let me take off, so in spite, I still went to school, but went to church that night just to like dig it into my Jewish mother that I was being defiant. And I had no idea what to do in a church. I went to church once in my life to see a wedding, and that was my only experience. So when they put the communion in my mouth, I didn't know, do I chew it? Do I just like hold on to it? So I sat there for 30 minutes with the wafer just lying on my tongue. And I'm sure my mom thought to herself, like, my kid annoys the shit out of me, but if her defiance at 17 is to go to church to spite me, that's not a bad case scenario. So, but like a little bit about me, I believed in Santa for an obscene amount of time for somebody who was raised Jewish and Catholic with no religion in their life. I believed in Santa probably until I was 11 or so, which for those of you who are not familiar with children, that's roughly about middle school. I was in middle school before I was like, wait, is there Santa? Is that a thing? But I would ask for like absurd things. I wasn't somebody who asked for practical, like, oh, I want a basketball or I want a doll or whatever. I would first ask Santa for a younger sibling because I didn't like my older sibling, so I figured I would up my odds with another sibling. And I don't think I fully understood what was in Santa's wheelhouse, so I didn't think like, you know, maybe procreating was not something that he handled, but I asked anyway. My second request for them, any of you who watched Full House in the 90s, they had an attic, an apartment in their attic. So I asked for an apartment in our attic, which was unfinished. I asked Santa for a major home remodel of several $100,000, and 8-year-old Tracy was like, yeah, this is the thing, it's gonna happen. I think I got a Barbie dream house that year, which is not comparable, but whatever. The other thing that I asked for, apparently I watch too much television, but the Saved by the Bell, he had a robot. I asked them for a robot. Again, none of these things I got, but so fast forward to being an adult, and I am walking down the street past the synagogue, and I'm also a bad liar. Now's a good time to mention to everybody that I am a horrible liar. And I walked past the rabbi in front of a synagogue, and the first thing out of his mouth was, "Are you Jewish?" And I was like, wow, it's a little early in the day for a hate crime, but whatever. So again, being a bad liar that I am, I said, well, technically my mother's Jewish, but my father's Catholic. I'm not religious. What can I do for you? And he's like, well, if your mother's Jewish, technically you're Jewish. And I was like, but you missed the part where I said my father's Catholic and I'm not religious. So agree to disagree on that one. So we went back and forth for a few minutes. I realized I wasn't winning the argument. And then I finally walked away, not helping this man turn off his lights because it was a Sabbath, and called my mother and I said, you will never guess what happened. I was just told that I was too Jewish after believing in Santa for 11 years. And I feel like that's roughly my time and a good note to leave it on. So thank you guys.